Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel, and in this one we are doing MAOKAI Jungle because the Treebeard has the highest win rate in the jungle. MAOKAI has the highest win rate. Phase Rush Gaming, Leandry's Gaming, but don't worry, the Aftershock and the full-on, tanky stuff, that still works. However, I have covered, as we obviously have a singed here, so we're deep watered and shown. We started out for the Q for that max HP damage on the solo clear. Yeah, so we covered the AP MAOKAI when they did the mini rework, but the tanky stuff still does work perfectly. The Phase Rush just allows you an accessibility to a different nature of rune set. It also allows you the versatility of, going full AP, rushing the Demonic's Embrace, using those AP ratios on the E, and obviously having a better time repositioning in and out of fights because you are naturally squishier. However, what if, instead of full clearing or quadrant clearing, we did a red Raptors, Grump, Flexi Clear, decided to go Phase Rush Demonics, but also then went with the broken itemization combo of Radiant Virtue and Abyssal Mask. Something people are sleeping on now. Is it necessarily something you would go all the time? No. We do have enough AP from the Zoe to kind of amplify that as well, and obviously unmake the AP ratio here. But look at this. The Wukong has decided to go invading against a MAOKAI. Why would you do that, good sir, when he has saplings? He's going to chuck another one over the bush. This is why I love MAOKAI, because when people want to invade you like this, they're going to just run into saplings. And, of course, the slow plus the damage plus the max HP damage on the Q and the excellent rotation by the bot lane. See, bot lane, I don't want to hear any bullshit about, hey, I couldn't help you. You can help. You see that? You just won the game, basically, except, obviously, if the game was won from this, I wouldn't release this video. This is a good one. We have a nice back-and-forth gold graph, and nothing is as straightforward as it seems. This is an exquisite start from the MAOKAI, and this is exactly what you want to do. We have a three-kill rotation here already early. However, this is where low elo, mid-elo players get a little bit confused about thinking, oh, look, the game's over. It's not. I mean, the MAOKAI is waiting for the crab on the bottom side here. The Wukong is now already back on the map, so should be able to try and eke out a little bit more of a trade advantage. Now, if he didn't do the red side quadrant into the gank there or the invade, which again was a little bit silly against the MAOKAI, like against any other champion, sure, we don't have the control woods early now, but against a MAOKAI with the saplings, or even with Zai with the plants, I would position, people like to do that, obviously. He could have finished this whole sequence, not done this. Not fed anyone and just ganked the bottom lane if he wanted to do that, because the MAOKAI went down, he would have been trailing this play. Alright, although he was looking red Raptors, Grump, Flexi clear still, but at least that's a straight up 3v3, right? It's all things are equal. The Singe is obviously going off on a little bit of an adventure, and we are now back to base here with the Blasting Wand, plus the Dark Seer, plus the Boots. That's what we want if we're going Demonic's Rush, which we should be going. The question here is, do you want to go Demonic's Jaxo, Demonic's Radiant Virtue, or Demonic's Leandry's is your third option. The Leandry's full IP build is the one that's working best at the moment, okay? Let's keep that deep within our minds. And the damage plus the HP when you go Shadow Flame and things like that, because obviously you have E plus, your E has HP plus AP scalings, right? So it's pretty strong. And obviously it's nice to have that on your Q max, because we have the percentage damage on the Q now for our clears, and we don't have a Barmies in our kit at all because it's only on Sunfire. So the reason we did the long wave path thing here is because when you see someone go up like this as he dies, you kind of don't know, did he go and ward this or ward this? So we want to go the long way to make sure we're safe, okay? So whenever you see someone enter your jungle, take a safer, more umbrella kind of pathing route just to make sure you're going to be safe. Now, the Wukong has kind of matched the tree tempo a little bit, although he's a bit behind here, not doing some good junglings. Bot lane is going on for a 2v2, the Samira Nautilus Giga combo. That's always a good time. I mean, not for the enemy bot lane, but for the Nautilus and the Samira. Again, they get to have fun, but Nautilus, line pick, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily always do that, but, against this particular comp, thumbs up, that's nice. And obviously for low elo, like if you just pick an engaged champion, the finesse of a more squishy lane or nuanced lane is not gonna suddenly make you lose the lane as a Nautilus. Now, we do have a gold lead here, and it's a decent one. Most people will end up throwing this 100%. We're level 4 at 5.5 minutes going on to 6 minutes, which means we have level 6 mid lane, we have level 6 top lanes, obviously not the Singe. The Darius should hit that very, very quickly. I don't know why the Silas is going in on this, knowing full well that the MAOKAI is on the bottom side here. This is bad trading relevant to jungle tempo, and this is such an important concept if you're a laner. There we go, there's level 6. As I said, it should be. Obviously, it's predictable, right? 5 minutes wave, if you're in a perfect universe, gives you 6. Realistically, 5:30, 5:45 will reach that with all the backs and the deaths. The Wukong is showing up here, holding this wave, getting super low from this. A lot of stuff happening in this game. Do we care about our farming here? No, move on to the bottom lane. We're level 4. We don't care. We have a Blasting One. Place a sapling. If a Wukong goes here, he will be chunked, which obviously is not what he wants to do. So there's always this possibility of a throw moment coming through, and we're going to look at a prime example of this at the end. I'm going to show you an example whereby this actually happens in a MAOKAI game as well, but they have an early lead and it swings to 2k gold lead in the other direction. This game, it's all about making sure we can continue this lead, continue this pressure, have that 80%, 70% KP while our team just has to do what they need to do, like 50% KP and below for them. It's all about the MAOKAI or the jungler being everywhere, you see. So I'll timestamp that below for you so we can look at that kind of like, well, what happens? Why did we lose the lead? And then we have this one, which is like, hey, we have the lead. How do we maintain it even as a tank jungler? Now, I know a lot of people just see the 3 kills early and go, GG. It's not GG, because if it was GG, then you wouldn't be whatever your rank is. If you could do that every game and just win straight up without thinking, then you would win, no? But that doesn't happen. You end up throwing, right? And it's your teammate's fault, right? It's not your fault. That's the thing. It's always connected. And again, the laning, trading relevant to jungle tempo. We see the Sylas, he steals the MAOKAI ultimate, he goes back to the mid lane, he uses it. You're the Wukong on the bottom side, you know the MAOKAI's here, you see your laner going in. Can we counter gank this or do something about it? Likewise, should the Sylas have done this at all? No. He should have recognized it's not the moment, right? Until you can wait a little bit until you see vision or know he's probably fallen back into his blue side. So that's the kind of mind game you got to play as a laner and a jungler. And as a jungler, look to kind of, don't you steal that, look to kind of play off of that as well for the counter ganks. Now, we have the red side. That was the starting side for the Wukong, but he was bottom side. Most likely that will not be something that's up at the stage, but we go and have a little look. We slap in, yes, slap in a sapling, and we chuck another one off the wall. I called this back when my channel was mega tiny, like, 300 subs. I released the Ultimate Early Game Jungle Guide, put it on Reddit. That got me 1,000 subs in a day. That was like oh, this guy makes cool guides. I hope that's what they thought, but they subbed anyway. I never think I make good videos, so it's always nice when people think that. Confidence of creators, right? And what happened is, the next few months, obviously, I didn't get the same kind of success, but I just kept building up my brand and my guides, and I would say I'm an original MAOKAI player, so I released a MAOKAI Jungle Guide, and I called that Advanced Sapling Placement. When you place your sapling in advance to where people are going to be, and obviously this is a great dive after the dragon, the Wukong comes bot lane with a 6, we have the Singe moving from the base, roaming from top lane, the MAOKAI now will die, and top lane is... Yes? Oh no, I'm losing lane. I'm being destroyed by the Darius. What can I do? Oh, impact the rest of the map. Maybe I could roam somewhere else and do something. Impact the lane. And now the marker's going, GG top, and the top bot lane's going, why is Singed in my lane? And everyone is outraged and talking in Christopher Walken cadences, trying not to be too angry about it. And Darius is like, guys, it's okay, I'm gonna win. And then, of course, problems, right? And they get the gold lead back, shutdowns, yada yada, it's all very good. So now at this point, we're 52 CS to 47 on the Wukong to the MAOKAI. At this stage, would this have changed the way we're playing the game, whether we're going Demonics, Leandries, Demonics, Jackshaw, Demonics, Radiant Virtue? No! Would the Aftershock have been nice for the dives and the survivability? Yes, but if we had Phase Rush, which we do, we're able to go and dive, proc, run away, right? And also because you got the healing passive and the ability to build a lot of HP and do damage, that's all we really need sometimes. You don't need the resistances and survivability from Aftershock. All right? Singed is now doing as he does. Now, I hate that champion a lot. I think everyone hates Singed a lot because of this right here. Yeah. Oh, that is a nice bubble. Thank you so much. Good. Thank you, Zoe. Dunking the clone is the worst thing you can do. Sylas is rotated up again, stealing the MAOKAI's ult again, using the MAOKAI ult on the MAOKAI. MAOKAI uses ult on the Sylas, and everyone's rooted, but nobody dies. All right, then. So that was interactive gaming, and why MAOKAI had a low win rate at Worlds, because they just picked Sylas. And then in Season 13, Sylas is just a jungler, so... Right, and I just had to rewind here because the Zoe actually killed the Singe, so we got an assist for it, and now we're gonna go and kill the Sylas who's out of position as well. So this is always nice when this happens, but the MAOKAI's focus was good. He didn't go overly chasing for kills. He just, look, it's disengaged, they're out, I can take an objective. And I think when you get this into your mind here, that hey, I pushed him out, I have this advantage, I can take the objective, and then I can leave, that's always going to serve you very, very well as we finally cross a 20 treat barrier, but so does the Wukong. And if your solo laners do good things, and you get an assist, that's great. But if they don't, which most of you will probably say, well, they don't, well, then, it doesn't matter, because we got the Herald. All right, we got the Herald, we can go base. How do we keep this pressure up here? So the early kill from the invader on the Wukong is obviously really, really big, but we were always going to do that, right? We were always going to red Raptors into Grump into gank in the bottom lane. This is the perfect kind of strategy, reconciling it with, hey, look, if the Wukong red quadrants and tries to do some shenanigans, I'm there. If he decides to farm into the top side, then I have free ganks in the bottom lane. So as a ganking jungle, you always want to position yourself to kind of cut off someone who can out-sequence you or out-mind game you by out-mind gaming them with very simple strategies. It's really not difficult. The Rammus example from the Rammus gameplay is a great example of that as well, because we had a Zed against us. Could we 3-camp a gank? Yes. Could we 4-camp a gank? Yes. Could we just full clear and say, oh well? Yes. But why don't we let the Zed, 258 full clear? I'll just do 5-camp in roughly that same time, a little bit slower. And then what I'm going to do is just go gank the lane while he's maybe on the crab or something like that. Get ahead of the enemy jungler. Now, if you champion 4 camps in that same 6-camp timer, then just 4-camp gank. He will be forced to base or not get his full clear, crab plus gank. And it kind of slows him down a lot, so that's important to note as well. In the meantime, we have gone back to base. We have yeeted some of the red side. Our Krugs and Raptors have respawned, but we want to use the Herald to bust open this bottom lane tower, except we did not pay attention to our bottom lane's back timer, which means that's not quite the best time to use it. However, we do have the ability to snag this red. However, because we showed and walked through, they might think that we're on this and all collapse on us, so we have to drag the camp up, which is exactly what happens, and we might even just straight up die for it. There you go. Greedy, greedy, greedy. That's why I said if you're going to go for these plays, and I talk about this a lot, if you're going to go for these plays, when your bot lane are backing and you show, you better be damn well ready for them to collapse and also be ready to escape. Now, he's kiting it up to escape, which puts him in a bit of a more precarious position, but he can always just leave. He didn't respect it and, as such, dies. Alternatively, you could just pull it into the bush here. As soon as someone walks over this towards you, you can put a sapling here as well. Just run away. But ideally, we don't go for that play. So if you look to use a Herald bottom lane, don't track your bottom lane's back timers by pressing tab and looking at the resources. Now you're on a side of the map you don't really want to be on, right? Whereas if you just went back to base and did kind of Krugs, Red Raptors, not the best sequence, but it's fine, and your bottom lane was primed to do this, what we could do is just cut on down and dive, and then fall back to the blue side, resync and do the dragon. But because he did red into the blue side and forced himself bottom side here with nothing else to do, his bot lane had backed and he couldn't really do anything. Now he's going to the mid lane here. We're going for the Giga Flash W. We're going to use the face rush to run away very quickly. Go, tree, go. Nicely done. The Wukong counter ganks, much better this time. But we're going to use this anyway and try and get ourselves some juicy plates. We'll just chuck a sapling here for some more damage. It's going to connect. Yes, it does. Boom, 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 baby. We got this Demonics already for 39. Wukong super low. If he walks too close, 1Q will kill him. Be very, very cautious there. A tick damage gives him another tower shot. Why not? Put an advanced sapling placement in that bush, and now we can look to do this dragon. However, our bottom lane are currently fighting. Again, the Singed is rotating to the bot lane while the Darius stays top lane. So as a top lane, this is the effect you can have, right? Even if you're losing lane. And I think in this particular situation, you can say, look, the Singed has had a good impact here because the market wanted to go and look for this dragon, but because the Singed went bot lane, shuts down their bot lane, right? Their lead now starts to compress. What do we do? Now Darius is going to leave and say, let's go. And everyone's like, well, I'm low. What do you want us to do? We can't contest this right now. It's most likely gone. But can we get a pick and fight? So the Darius is going to use his lead now, and it's important that he does. He has to start to use the lead because the Singed is using his globally. So the Darius needs to roam, and we need to be ready to roam with him because, again, we are not high econ. We are down 20 CS almost. We're losing a little bit of this farming tempo. Obviously, this death here is kind of tragic, and our sequencing at the latest stages of the early game there for optimal Herald placement wasn't quite primed, right? And that invade on the red was, in spirit, great, but your bot lane is basing. You've got no help, and they saw you. So they know you projected where you were going. It's the most basic death in a Grandmaster career. Still happens. Still happens. However, we are still a long way from victory. And that's the thing, right? That's why I'm going to have this a little bit at the end of the video just to show you where the lead is thrown, because it's those kind of plays on the red that do it. And if you don't have a huge, huge buffer, that can cause a huge swing in the game, especially with shutdowns. So Silas is splitting in the top lane. He's now level ahead of the Darius who won his lane, right? Like that's worth noting, actually. He's ahead of the Zoe because he's been going to the lanes, but obviously it doesn't really matter if he has no gold. I love watching Silas die. I mean, the champion's fun in the jungle. We love having him in the jungle, but goodness gracious me. Night Harvester, I mean, he went Everfrost. That's why we play jungle Silas. You can just be an assassin, Everfrost, Dark Harvest gamer. That's a true existence here. RNG Crab will snack that since it's not bottom lane with the Leona champion. And we have here a deep ward on the Raptors, so the Kai'Sa will try and snack those away a little bit. She's dragging them, but she sees this wave crashing, so she can't stay too much, because otherwise she'll be collapsed on. So she does actually, no, she doesn't actually finish it. Now we move up with that pressure into their jungle again, level 9. But we've done enough to kind of keep the Wukong from being useful, and we've got our laners fed. But again, we have the same KP as the Samira. We're going to end up with 78 to 80% KP. How do we keep this pressure up as a tank? Because this is easy if you're a Rengar, right? If you're a Rengar here and you have this kind of lead, you should be probably at least another 2-3 rotations of clears lapping this Maokai. So you'd be 2 levels ahead of the Wukong, no stress. If you're Sylas, same thing. And here we have the Sylas, he's gonna, oh, the Nautilus decided to stay behind. We get the Everfrost slow, plus a Nautilus steal, plus a Nautilus activation. We have the Zoe in the bottom lane here, no TP, she can't rotate. The Singe goes in, gets the flip. We get the huge knockup, but it doesn't really matter. We do get the root, but we can do nothing, and the Kai'Sa should be able to go in here and get multiple kills. The Singe is running around like a crazy person. The Darius has decided to flash out. You're not having the same, you know, he's not really doing the same, you know, as the Singe. The Singe is really bringing that, you know, but the Darius is not. So this is where things get a little precarious, because you might feel like, well, don't we have a huge lead? And everyone's like, yeah, we have a huge lead. But in game, it might feel like it's a little bit more equal than it needs to be. But again, they only have 1 out of tower. We have 2. Face checking a Herald take. That's always a good one. My friends, repeat after me. Learn to give them up. Take your red, take your Krugs, go back to base, control this quadrant, push this wave out, decompress the map. You can get like 16 CS in the time that they spend worrying if you're going to contest the Herald and taking the Herald. You get treats all the way to 0. You also are able to go back to base and spend cash monies. More cash monies than you would just by contesting the Herald. Now we're kind of wandering around, going back to this finally. We're going to lose our red buff to the Samira. Whereas if you just did what I said, you could have snacked it for yourself. I mean, why would you give your red to an ADC unless they're very clearly high elo or smurfing? Can I just get my treats? See, this is what I hate. My treats. I want them. You know, I'd have it fully finished now. No. See, that's why you do that kind of stuff. If you recognize, hey, look, no, take, or just take. That's what I did. This doesn't matter. Take the whole quadrant. Base. You're done, right? You got Radiant Virtue. Now you go to the bottom side here. You see this. You're going to move outside in rule to them first. And you can always fall back to this, get this RNG scuttle, yada yada. But the problem is, because we kind of try to follow the Darius into Doom, into Mordor, you know, the Samira gets 2 camps. We don't get the thing finished. Now we're not level 11, so we have to do the Wolves first before we do the Gromp and the Blue. And what happens if something occurred on the map that we needed to rotate to, but we didn't have the full treat upgrade? We didn't have 11. You see what I'm saying? The potential for downside there is huge. So if you're an ADC or laner, that just let your jungler get their treats. And 11, please. Good for you. Good for me. It's good for everybody. Right, we do Rent finished. We have here the Radiant Virtue plus the Demonics finished. And again, this game feels like it's stalled out a little bit. Remember, the Sylas and Kai'Sa can be quite monstrous in the late game, but I think the thing is, you know, that's not a reference to her story called Monstrous, although that is a good story I do enjoy. Okay, the flash all in from the Wukong here with disengage from the Maokai and the Nautilus and the re-engage onto the Wukong. Nice double root there. Finish off with a Q. We have the face rush proc so we can keep chasing. We chuck another sapling. That should get a slow, oh, it's going to proc on the sleep actually. That's kind of sad, but the Nautilus hook goes through and then Zoe's able to do the Disney stuff, and she dies. So, sorry I punched the microphone there, but that was very nicely done by the Maokai. Well, the phase rush didn't really do much, but good use of the disengage, good use of the CC, and obviously the Q punch to finish. Huge things, and that's why you can't all in a Maokai comp when the Maokai builds like this. And obviously this is huge. So, we currently have healing to self at 287 and healing to allies at 329. Now, again, all match histories for these videos are linked in the description below. Let me know if you would potentially want to have this kind of format, but maybe I just pick random, oh, firstly, people who pay for VOD coaching, first and foremost. Virkayu.gg, launching very soon. All the stuff will be on there soon. Okay, soon. You can go sign up to be notified. A lot of stuff coming. But, you know, you could basically say, let's have the same format, but for like platinum, gold, diamond, silver, bronze. Probably never going to do an iron one because bronze, iron, it's just like if you're an iron, you're just a new player. Anything on the main channel will help you. It's just a case of you've got to study the material, right? You got to learn absolute fundamentals. But basically, just general coaching VODs in this particular style could be a fun way to get quick coaching content out. Let me know if you want that mixed in with these. I have asked that before, but the response was lukewarm, and I'm not interested in releasing something that's going to get 1,000 views. I know the views are down anyway, but like, you know, I want something that's going to be really useful for people that people are going to watch, you know, and I got to pick and choose my projects and the videos I do precisely, because I've got a lot of things running parallel. So from this particular moment, we are going to lose this Herald's going to shove into this. We're going for the RNG Baron here, not really RNG, but a nice little pick. We're going to snack that away. Nice ultimate by the MAOKAI, and that's where the power is. It's damage, it's root, it's just everything. That ultimate is so game-changing, and the Radiant Virtue gives you so much power when you have close fights. Now again, we are not nearly done with this game. It is not a game that is going to be that easy, because the Singe can do those kinds of things. One little pick here and there, and you're going to have a bit of an issue. Even the Zoe is slowed here, but the MAOKAI is going to go all the way in here. We're going to get that auto attack after the W. Make sure you W auto Q and try and get that Q going in the other direction, because you don't want to overstack your CC, and this Samira gets, oh, well then. Singed? Your team didn't want that. Your team didn't want that at all. But that's fine. This has died, fortunately for us, and we got the Baron. But you see, it's about the team fighting. If you don't W, ult, peel, engage appropriately, the MAOKAI team will lose this game. We're 6-2-8 at this point. There's always obviously getting more KP, but let's have a look here. We got a few team fights left to go. Out of base here, Wukong is alive and really not having a good game. And the MAOKAI has had a good game. Now we're 2 levels up. You see, with tanks, it's about being there with your team. Like, for example, here, while we were chatting about this, he was sequencing down, moving on up, moved up to here, you get a pick, you go to the Baron. You got to play in sequence around your team. So, for example, here, if your whole team's ready to go mid lane and against, say, a pushing wave, don't go Raptors, Krugs. Now you're going to have to trace back. Look at this top wave, right? If there's nothing happening, you could always catch this, take this, and if something happens, you can cut in and rotate. That's always something you can do. Less so in this particular case, because the wave is now definitely more down and the Darius is pushing up here, so we kind of want to join them right now, right? But this is more if it's pushed up a little bit. We do have Baron as well. Silas goes over the wall, misses his Everfrost. We're chucking a sapling to try to get a slow. That does not hit. The Zoe's in a bit of a precarious situation, so the MAOKAI uses his ult to get the healing onto the Zoe, obviously increasing that healing as well. And now we can go for the peels. Doesn't really matter. The Zoe ends up dying. We see the Samira just killing everybody. All right, but we were moving towards her anyway. Move towards a target you want to peel and protect. Zoe decided her fate a long time ago. Well, Silas did, this particular case. Nautilus is now frontlining. We are looking for some potential flankings. We're putting the sapling placement down just to make sure we can protect ourselves. The Darius is in the picture here. We get the flash hook. We have the W Kai'Sa over the wall. There we go. See how we're just spacing with our body here. Now we go in. Kai'Sa goes over us to get the kill in the backline here. We are now trying our best to kill targets. We're able to kill one. The Kai'Sa's going to E again. I think we should die here. We go in again. W order to get the heal. Q, knockback, flash of the wall. Phase rush, run away. Beautifully done. The minions are now killing people. We have another sapling here. Ooh, they placed a wall. What's the W? Good job. That was close. That was tight. That was intense. Kai'Sa did a very good job there to avoid the MAOKAI, but do you see the patience on the tank? Take this. This doesn't slow you anymore on Chem Tank Map. It doesn't slow you. It gives you a shield and it heals you. So this you could take hugely and then go to the Grump and kite it down. And then put 2 saplings for protection. Yeah, I would have done that first in case they decided to cheese you, but obviously we have vision protection here. There we go. Thank you so much. Hit that. Thank you so much. RNG Scuttle. Thank you so much. And we want to get as many of these dragons as we possibly can. That would be 3. 3. Depending where you're from. Dragons, because, you know, there's only 2 more before we activate the Elder Win condition. But this is the fight we want. Now, we have 1,000 cash money in pocket, but we have the Warden's Mail to deal with the Kai'Sa and obviously the Wukong. We have the Spectre's Cowl to obviously deal with the other 2 hybridization, the hybrid element of their enemy team. And I think that's such a crucial thing that I do a lot on a tank as well. I'll have my 2 core items, and then I'm like, well, do I need to go Spectre's Cowl or Warden's Mail or Negatron? If they've got 2 and 2 damage profiles, I'll typically do what he's done here. You get like the Bombies, or the Bombies, Chain Vest, the Wardens, the Bramble, plus the Spectre's Cowl and the Negatron Cloak, and you kind of stack them next to each other, and then you finish one item accordingly. But we have a fight as we do the Dragon. For some reason, they decided to push up and try to get fights, and the MAOKAI now is just sitting with his ADC, stand front, get the chain CC, get the knockbacks, get the auto attacks, get the chain, to get the sapling procs and the slows, turn back to peel here. See, don't chase, turn back to peel, chuck that sapling, make sure we can keep her safe. There we go, nicely done. Can we chest down the Singe? Nope. Play around your ADC, play around your win condition. Do not overly chase, and look at this. Right, we're down 8k gold, but we're not categorically winning fights as we should. But if you position and peel and engage correctly, you will survive. And you will have the highest KP because everyone else will die around you, but you will be that one constant, that one consistent tanky beast. Which is what we want. Yes, yes it is. So we've decided here in this particular case to not finish anything because we didn't have enough and we don't have any slots. The Kais is obviously taking a Krug, so we're going to go for a little bit of a look here. Okay, we see that Kais is tough, man. You gotta wait for her E to be used, but as long as you can hit that before the E gets procced, you'll just travel with her. But again, a tough one. Very, very big tough one because the E can come up a lot quicker at this particular place in the game. So once you hit your W and your Q, that's it, right? If she repositions again and you can't kill her as a team, you have to wait for your cooldowns. And for cooldown references, we're at 7.14 seconds on that W. We're at 2.98 seconds on that Q, which is a lot of max HP damage coming through. And we got 6 seconds basically on this, and this is now to 65.48. So that is a good amount of haste and cooldown on our ultimate. We finally finished the Abyssal Mask. So for those of you who remember, that gives you that right there on the screen. You can read that as we watch for the engage, because I want to watch for the engage here. The Wukong's actually going in. We're going to get the flash hook from the Nautilus. The Maokai decides to go in following this up. We activate the ultimate, then we move in. We get the movement speed. We W, we kill. That's free. And that's a beautiful pick there by the pick-based comp. We're a teamfighting comp, but we're also pick-based comp. If someone's out of position, we can go ahead and snag that kill. Now, there should be an absolute free Baron right there, and I'm sorry, the Abyssal Mask thing didn't hold up too long, but basically, you're looking at mana restore, but the most important thing is you remove their magic resist up to a max stack of 25, but you also gain magic resist yourself, okay? So it's basically like a shift like this, which is great, because now you get more magic resist against their comp, and they have less magic resist against you and the Zoe, which is exactly the kind of stuff you want. Works very well. I do think people sleep on this item. It's not as broken OP on Maokai as you might think necessarily, but as a magic resist item on this champion with this build, 500 HP. Go with your Demonic's Embrace, go with your Leandris if you want. You could also build it on the Leandris game. Slow from the Sapling Toss. The Wukong is way too deep again, looking for the peel. The Kai'Sa's repositioning. We're going to get a kill here. This is an interesting engagement. We're might try and get the Kai'Sa, but you can't, you see. So just keep hitting what's in front of you as best you can and try and keep whoever the carry is with you alive as much as you can. And keep chaining together the kills there. The Kai'Sa is doing a good job positioning, making it quite difficult, but you're seeing the difficulty against the Kai'Sa. The Sylas is not flanking from the side. We do have the Baron. There's always in the mid lane. Again, not really always in these fights, is she? And they were able to do a good job there. Now, why did they engage in that particular moment? Because the red team had not reset fully, and they, for the moment, had a much closer gold lead effectively than if they let them reset. So they tried to make those picks. They were able to get something. Now they can keep chasing down, but obviously the Darius and Maokai is going to go back in here. We want to try and make sure we can use our Phase Rush proc, but it doesn't look like we're necessarily going to get it. Ooh, never mind. Look at this. You see, this is what I'm talking about. You have the Abyssal Mask. You have the Demonics. You have the Q max HP damage. You have the Phase Rush reposition. You have the heal. The only person that can really, really kill you is the Kai'Sa, and that's what we have to be careful for. Nice try. You see the heal there, though? Yeah, well, that should be Radiant Virtue? Radiant Virtue? Yes, don't run up because Kai'Sa might be closing in. No, she's not. Okay. Well, there you go. So let's look at the stats. What we got here. Health unmade, 790. Healing done, 516. Mana restored, 1262. Radiant Virtue, mana restored. Oh, excuse me. That doesn't have mana. Healing to allies, 3,738. Healing to self, 2,000 basically. Bonus, obviously 200 HP. Now we have our Randuin Zoman completed. Why? It's going to reduce the damage. 80 physical damage from the Wukong and the Kai'Sa, but most importantly, is gonna do some slowing. Now, could we justify perhaps that Frozen Heart? Yes, but I feel like the HP is juicy good on our scalings, but at the same time, even though Randuin's was a little bit gutted in compared to what it used to be, please give us 90 armor again, or at least 75. Can we split the difference? Can we have 75 armor on that ride? The reduction, the slow is what we really want to stick to the Kai'Sa in this particular case. We're going giga deep here. Nami Highness is just like, alright, I'm so fed, I don't really care anymore. Thank you, Maokai, for being such a great tank. Nice little pick here again. The Singe is running around, as you would expect. Going onto the Samira, we can watch this as we chain down the person on the top there. Drowsy, and that should be a dead Singed. We can win from this now. Don't need soul, we can just win from this. So, I think they will. And yes, they will. They've got the numbers. They can just keep making picks with Nautilus and Maokai. The Q hook into the W and the Q and the ult is just, it's as easy. So hopefully a great example here of how to play a tank in a carry position, keeping your teammates alive and making sure that you know, you're doing the, like, he does the most damage in the game, right? You look at the match history link, he does the most damage in the game. Straight up. Because he's alive the whole time. He's always present in the fights. He's making the right plays. He built the right itemization. He protected the right person at the right time. He engaged, he peeled, he repositioned, he used phase rush. He understood the Radiant Virtue heal. He uses ultimate perfectly. This was a great, great Maokai game showing you how to carry as a tank. Now, quickly, 2-minute segment on what happens when you throw that lead. Right, in this game we are actually going to win, however, it's not the same Maokai. You're seeing here at this particular moment, the ADC has died, just typical lane stuff. But we are 4-1-2, we have a decent lead in the game. Well, we had a decent lead basically before that shutdown about 2 minutes ago, right? 2K gold lead. Again, I'll leave the match history link so you can check the gold graph. There's going to be a swing here. Our ADC is dead. Now, instead of, like in the last game, where he goes for the red, and dies, and just it's a solo incident. Now his ADC is dead and he's still going for this neutral objective when the whole team, right, is ready to do something about it, and they have a Shen. Now the Shen doesn't have an ultimate, but again, this is the kind of scenario where just give it up, right? So even if you have the lead here and it's the same, imagine it's the exact same game, except you're going for a fight over this. Now we do get the barrel into the CC onto the Heimerdinger. We get the kill, the GP ults, but we use a phase rush and flash to reposition. Now we split off from our team, and obviously the Renekton shows up. We don't have an ADC, so there's no point even taking that fight, right? And this is the same unless you're playing like an actual carry champion where you could 1v3 already, and if you're a tank, just don't even bother. You're not going to be able to do it quickly enough, all right? Unless you're a Mundo and you understand how to play the champion, right? This is what I do as well. And you can run people down, go for it. But honestly, even then, it's like, well, if you can't take the fight at all and you're just not as ahead as you think, fall back and take stuff. Now, you know, they have a small gold lead at the moment, so what's going to happen is we're going to farm a little bit here, all right? And we're going to cut in. Obviously, we have our Ionian boots in this game. The Monarchs are going full AP. Now we're going to rush to the top side with everybody available. The Pike's going to go in before us. We're training the play. The enemy team's going to show up here. We're not making the right decision. The Dyna counter ganks instead of, you know, like this is a good example for the Wukong as well. Make this proactive play before the Maokai gets there. He was mid lane. There was no reason for him to be mid lane, right? At all. He decided just to cut in down here instead of just keep sequencing. If he kept sequencing, he would have been in a better situation to rotate. But look at this. He's too afraid to go in. He's afraid. He doesn't know his champion. He doesn't know it as well as the enemy Maokai, as the other Maokai in the previous game. And because he forced a fight that he shouldn't have forced with an ADC dead instead of just farming, we'll get a kill here maybe. Yeah. Okay, that's great. We got something back. And because he was training the play and the Dyna got there first, he just had this huge gold swing, right? 2K gold lead down for the blue team. And there's no real reason to force that fight on the dragon. That dragon fight there, and the subsequent why was he mid lane, and why was the enemy going, why were we even going for this fight in the first place? It costs you. There is just transitive effects in terms of how you position, right? In terms of how you choose to make fights. So as a tank, learn to give things up like the Herald, like the dragon if you have to. Wait for your priority targets, play around them as well. And don't go in for 3v1 fights when you're the 1. You know, don't go for the 4v3 when you're the 3. Play intelligently. And now a word about the bootcamp coming up at the end of January. And to start off for Season 13, I will be hosting another bootcamp with Coach Kybert for laners and junglers and for every single role. Topics on your screen now starts end of January, January 30th. Basically, we're going to be covering everything in this video in depth related to you, giving you some active examples, some drills, everything to make you a better League of Legends player as a whole, all through a really in-depth 2-week bootcamp from January 30th onward. And additionally, I will be raffling off a $400 coaching package to a lucky winner who subscribes in the first 100 tickets, which means a further 4 hours of coaching directly with me, all free for you after the bootcamp is finished. And overall, the bootcamp is just chocked full of absolute free coaching, free VOD reviews, Q&As. We have 10 different sessions for you from myself and Coach Kybert. We have other challenger coaches on call. Essentially, you're looking at something like 30 coaching sessions for the price of 1, all within a community hosted by Gosu Academy. So click the link in the description below, sign up, join the Discord, and I will see you all there to learn everything you need to know about Season 13 jungling and laning so that you can climb to your ranked goals and beyond.